That's the head fake version, where we end the moves in the current direction and have a very serious correction thereafter. Profit taking. The American Association of Individual Investors numbers are pretty bullish. Yeah, I agree. Does SLV look near-term exhausted to you? All right, let me go over to the other chart pattern, the other charting package. So SLV. These are my notes from when I post on the site. Does it look? Well, not only is it overbought, it is not confirming. So you see, momentum peaked in the first week or so of October, up at, let's call it $23. That was the momentum peak. And you had to pull back another high in price, over 24, and momentum, as you can see down here, momentum went to a lower high. And it pulled back again. In the past few days, today, SLV went to another higher high, 24.42. Look at where momentum is. So this is just an indication, not a sell signal. It's an indication that the bulls are losing steam. The bulls are, the power of each successive up move is occurring on less, or that is the price move to the upside. New highs, each one is occurring on less and less fuel in the tank. And typically what happens is, it gets up here somewhere, and then one day it gaps down and it's over and out. So the SLV, though, I think could have a lot higher to go after a correction. So my sense is that if the SLV corrects, let me show you the breakout point. This is a weekly candle chart. So you can see it broke out around 19 and a half, gone straight up. For argument's sake, I think it can still make higher highs. Let's say $25. I think a stiff reaction could be down to 22, perhaps even to the prior highs, 21. At which point I'd be looking to buy the SLV. Now, why would you want to buy SLV? The main reason for me is the China connection and the fact that silver is sometimes an industrial metal and sometimes it's dragged along by gold. Right now it's getting the benefit of both. And China is going to be a huge factor going forward. And, you know, if you can, you should try to find get a hold of the latest Economist. There's an article about China in there, how much it needs now from the world, how much exports are going to it from all over the world, how small the current exports of the U.S., Japan, is going into China right now as a percentage of their GDPs. But China is not a consumption-based society or economy yet. It will be. And the more consumption-based it is, the more stuff it's going to need. Silver is in all this photographic equipment, high-tech electronics. Silver could go a lot higher. And another reason that silver could go higher, that some people subscribe to, is that there's been a major manipulation by some money center banks that trade in silver. And they're short, and they still need to cover. And the CFTC is about to unveil their findings, or its findings, about certain big entities that have kept silver lower than it ordinarily would be if those entities were not almost cornering the market and driving the price down. I have no idea if any of that's true. I do know one thing, I think, that you're dealing with government agencies and very high-profile money center banks. And chairmen or CEOs of those banks that would love nothing more than to get this story out of the press. So my sense is this: even if there's manipulation that's going on, and even though the CFTC put out a letter last week that said they are involved in an investigation, the findings will be put out in due time, and that if they didn't think there were suspicions of manipulation, they wouldn't be doing the investigation in the first place. Well, somehow, when politics gets involved and high-profile individuals are involved, somehow these things don't quite get to the point that you think they could get to, and certainly if you're long silver, you hope they get to. Now, if they're short covering silver and it goes, and people think there's enough silver out there to short cover to get it to $50 or $80 or $100, I've heard it all those numbers. My sense is that there's bound to be a big disappointment, because when somehow that story may get swept under the carpet, may get watered down, there may be a slap on the wrist and no accusations. So just be careful. If you're in silver for that reason, because you're so sure that Bank XYZ has manipulated the crap out of silver and that they have thousands of ounces to cover, just be careful. I would rather be in the call side than in the futures long position, because if the news is disappointing, silver will fall apart. Having said all that, silver's move is a very strong one, and at $21, whether the news on this manipulation is out or not, I'd be looking to buy silver for a trade, not to see it to go to $150 an ounce, because I don't think that that's happening. That's my own opinion. I don't know anything more than anybody else about what's coming down the pipe with silver. This is a question. Bank of America